Hey, welcome everyone to the Next Block podcast. We're on episode 117, and we got a lot of great stuff to talk about today. Big shout out to the Algorand fam. So it's gonna be good. We have CompX coming on with Kieran. So get ready. Welcome to the show. Here he is. How's it
Hey,
going?
Will. How's it going, man? Yeah, it's really, really good over here. It's been a while since we last chatted.
Yes. It's been a while. You guys have evolved. A lot of things are going on, and I know people are excited. The users out there are having a good time with what's been happening on Algorand DeFi as of lately. So let's start. Let's just go right on into it. Let's do another quick introduction to this audience over here of who you are, and then how did you get with CompX, and then we'll go more into all of the details.
Sweet. Yeah, sure. So my name's Kieran. I came into crypto in 2021. Me and some other guys built a platform called Algogator. Some of you may have used it in the past. So
OG.
we were doing a portfolio tracking site for a couple of years, and then November last year, I was out lonesome in a hotel out in Portugal for Web Summit, and I got a call from Michael Cotton, NAJ, and he said, "Hey, want to take on Algogator? Would you want to be in charge of CompX from now on?" And I was like, "That sounds great. Yeah, I'll take that. That sounds good." So, Algogator got brought in January, and then there's been a multitude of other projects and companies that have kind of become part of the CompX fold and added to the things that we can bring people.
Excellent. So yes, definitely. Algogator was another platform I did use for sure. Portfolio tracking and all the goods there. So right now, CompX, it is a lot of different platforms there. And can we talk about the first one, the main one that when you go to the website, it's a farming and staking. So let's start there with the
Yeah.
farming and then go into staking tokens and whatnot.
Yeah, so the whole ethos behind CompX as a whole is innovation, composability, and ultimately yield. So that's why we start with the farms. They were our first project, our first product. So they're all compounding farms. So that's LP tokens that you'll put in, and you'll get rewards for them. Those rewards can come from the trading value, lending values for F assets, and also from TDR, which is still running at the moment. But the difference with us is that we take those rewards, they come into your actual stake, and they compound so that your stake gets bigger, giving you kind of an exponential increase in the actual yield that you get from those farms as opposed to doing them normally. So we use packed farms for them.
Yep.
So we just kind of on top of packed. So if anyone's farming exclusively with packed, come on over to CompX, give us a try because you will get more bang for your buck.
Okay, so that's a partnership with Pact,
Yeah, it's a loose
essentially.
partnership. I mean, it's
Okay.
decentralized. I mean, all their contracts are out there; they can be used. But we're good pals with the guys over at Pact, and their announcements with joining up with Humble and stuff like that was really cool.
Yep.
So yeah, we're hoping to do more with them in the future. But yeah, it's kind of a loose partnership. One of these Web3 things with I don't know if we asked or we kind of said we're going to do this,
Oh yeah,
and everyone was
for
like,
sure.
"Okay, cool."
Yeah, that I guess what the open source technology, makes things a lot easier.
Yeah. The nice
Mhm.
thing about them is it's not like a vampiric thing or anything. Like we don't take like money away from Pact. They still get their fees because it's their LP pools.
Mhm.
Basically it's kind of win-win. People get more yield. Pact still get their fees. We get a fee. Everybody grows.
Okay. All right. The next one is Alamex. So can we break down how that works, right? And that's something that, as I told you off camera, I'm like, hey, I love using this platform right here. It's one of the easiest ways for me to get the nice swap with less slippage and everything. Every token seems
Mhm.
to be on there. So can you break down how Alamex works and a little background on it?
I can try. I didn't build it, but I know how it works, and I'm glad to hear you using it.
Mhm,
It's the best swap router on Algorand,
mhm.
possibly in the whole of crypto. Who knows? We haven't tested it, but so what it does is it'll take whatever tokens you want to swap, and it'll go check all of the liquidity pools across all of the protocols. That's Pact, Folks, Tiny Man, even still AlgoFi, because those pools still have money in them.
Wait, algo slide. Oh wow.
Yeah, sometimes people will see that. You do a swap between USDC and bank, and you're like, how? And then we give people the best rates. There's no token gating. You don't need to hold a number of our token to use it or to get the preferential rates or anything like that. And we have the lowest fees out there. So we just revamped the UI for it yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Arthur, one of our amazing developers, revamped the UI. So it's even easier and nicer to use. And it has limit orders too. So you don't have to just swap right then. You can put a limit order in for the specific price with an expiry date if you want. And when that happens and that price gets reached, it'll do the swap through the router as if you were doing it then and there. So it's there's great functionality in it. It's really, really powerful what you can do. And our auto compounding farms use that router to swap your rewards back into LP tokens. So it's kind of the kind of nerve center of everything that happens on our site goes through the router.
Makes sense. Yeah. So real back to the auto compounding. So auto compounding, right? You said they use AlumX to swap back in. So so the contracts are also claiming your tokens for you, like facilitating all of that.
Yeah. So when you opt into one of our auto compounding farms, we'll set up an escrow and your own compounding application. So you get your own smart contract. So it's those that do the swaps with the router and then put your tokens back in. So if you look through the transactions, your account is pretty much just the owner of all these things, but it's the compounder, it's the router, and it's ultimately the farm at the other side that do all the work. Your account just gets the rewards for it, just gets the outlay. But yes,
how often? Yeah, how often does the compounding happen?
So it's up to people however often they want. You can do it from 1 hour, 6 hours, or 24 hours. You do have to put in the fees to cover that though. There's like the algo fees that'll need to be added to cover how much you want to compound. But yeah, and you can change that on the fly if you want to compound on less or more. You can change that as you go. But we found that 6 hours is usually pretty good for most people. Some people have asked us to make it faster. I think, well, maybe make it every 5 minutes or something like that if you're really trying to go for that extra yield. But right now it's 1, 6, and 24.
Well, I mean, I think that's enough time because people are crazy trying to go 5 minutes. It's like
people have asked.
Come on now. Yeah. Well, that's the the beauty of Algorand right there. The transactions are very sweet. We've seen ton coin shut down recently today. That was this week we'll say.
Yeah.
That was that was crazy. So I couldn't imagine a blockchain like that trying to do something with an airdrop. So that
yeah, that was on like over 100 TPS. They were like, oh no, just shut it down.
Yeah. So I guess if people want to compound every 5 minutes, it'll be definitely possible. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main token right here. Let's. My question for this one is xUSD. Is that affiliated with XBacked, or is it something totally different?
No, it was XBacked.
Okay. It was XBacked. Okay.
Well, XBacked was a thing, and now XBacked is in CompX. So I don't know that it acquired is probably the best way to put it. We acquired XBacked some months ago, which means we took over the kind of stewardship of xUSD as well. So yeah, xUSD is now fully with CompX. You may find on certain explorers that it still has the URL as XBacked. We are working to get that changed.
Okay. I thought it was familiar. Okay, makes sense. So breakdown of xUSD. So it's in the stablecoin family essentially.
Yes. So xUSD is an over collateralized, decentralized stablecoin. So it's backed by crypto assets. With various collateral percentages. For instance, Algo, we ask people to put in 120% collateral, or something like Coop, it's 200%. For something like Chips, it's 250. So there's different ratios, and we do support, Go BTC and Go ETH and other wrap tokens like AVAX and Sol to come in, mint some xUSD, keep your bag of tokens that you like, whether it's Coop, whether it's Ethereum or something like that. You can keep that bag, and then you can be liquid again with xUSD and go do things in the
Mm.
ecosystem with that.
Yeah, and over collateralized, especially for the more volatile tokens, makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like algorithmic stable coins.
Yeah.
I don't know if after the whole Luna UST thing, anyone is a huge fan of them. But I think there's definitely a
Nah.
place for decentralized stable coins, because we see, I mean, DAI now has freeze on it.
What?
So
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
they've changed. DAI's changed because they've taken on like different types of collateral for them, like
Mm.
treasury bills and stuff like that. They need to have some more checks and balances, so become less
Yeah,
decentralized.
not my favorite right there.
Yeah, I mean, they've done some amazing work, MakerDAO, and hey, they needed liquidity, they needed the backing to support the token, so I see why they've done it. But we want to come out and just be, we're decentralized, we're over collateralized. That's what we do. I have no interest, and I'm probably not allowed to buy T-bills or anything like that.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. T-bills. I mean, I'll say that people right now, or businesses right now, are getting real creative inside of crypto right now, trying to just figure things out as they go. And
Yeah.
I could just say interesting is the word I'll say for a lot of it, for sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Definitely interesting.
Yes. So in terms of xUSD, can you point to some of the like platforms that you can get xUSDC, or is it like mostly through the CompX conglomerate there?
So conglomerate, I like it. I'm going to use that.
Yep.
For minting fresh xUSD
Yep.
straight off the presses, and bringing new xUSD into circulation, you have to do that on CompX. We
Okay.
have the vaults. That's where you deposit the collateral tokens and take them. But you can. There's liquidity pools on Tinyman, on Pact, that you can do normal swaps. You can swap into xUSD anytime you like. I think, I mean, we're obviously on a mission to grow xUSD.
Yep.
So if people want to mint it, people want to buy it, we're open to whatever. And liquidity is super important for us, because with how the token works, we want to be able to shore up against like large selling events and things like that, so we can try and keep towards our soft peg of $1. So we will be bringing in some LP and straight up xUSD holding incentives in the coming weeks and months.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Let's pause for a moment and we'll go to our commercial break, and then we'll dive in on the rest of this conversation. So you guys bear with us for 1 second. Big shout out to our sponsors there, NFD, Exa Market, and Gora here. And we got a commercial from Exa Market. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Episode 117, and we're here speaking to CompX. All right, big shout out to our sponsors there. So, let's go back to the loans, or if we haven't talked about it, let's talk about the loans. I seen a chatter, recently on Twitter about liquidations and things that are happening, and I know some people love liquidating. I seen that, was it a liquidator.algo has been running around liquidating throughout the community. So let's talk about, how does the loans work on CompX, and break that down.
So the loans are just specifically with xUSD. We don't have a we don't have a lending market like folks finance do, or as someone like AlgoFi used to. Ours is specifically that kind of collateralized debt protocol. So collateral goes in, xUSD comes out.
Okay.
So in terms of liquidations, All the vaults, as I saw earlier today, are looking quite healthy. People did a bit of leveraging against xUSD for algo, so long an algo at the minute, and they're looking quite healthy. But liquidations do happen from time to time. All of our vaults have different liquidation ratios, depending on the volatility of the tokens, and different discounts for the liquidators. People can liquidate like on the front end, like they can go to the website and liquidate other users if they wish, if they find them. We do have a liquidator bot that does run in the background to pick those up, because we need to deal with any bad debt that's there. I think liquidator.algo, hopefully they don't get wind of our stuff, because we're fine doing it ourselves. But we need to speak to Algo Scout and see if we can get the xUSD liquidations tracked as well.
Yeah. So how does the liquidations work? Like, my idea is what you just see some, debt that is bad, I guess, and then you purchase this debt, and then you get the other assets at a cheaper price.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, in practice, if you're doing it manually, if you go on our site, pick a vault type like gAlgo, Algo. gAlgo is usually one that people are leveraging quite heavily. So gAlgo, you see something that's under collateralized, or it's under its ratios, and you go to liquidate it. So what you would do is pay back xUSD back into the protocol to pay off the debt that's there, because the debt's only in xUSD, and then you'll be returned that user's collateral at a discount. So you'll get, like, I think on something like Coop, it's like 30% discount. So you get 30% more than what you put in. And that is just a mechanism to keep the platform and the currency and keep xUSD healthy in terms of what's backing it. But it's just one of those necessary evils.
I mean, yeah, it's DeFi, decentralized finance, is just like traditional finance, but anyone can participate. So that is the beauty of it. And I think, yeah, it is amazing. So if someone's out there, like Liquidator, or anyone's out there really scouting, you just got to pay attention and then be able to have the funds to go, liquidate somebody. That's the way it works sometimes. People are leveraging and trading. That's the risk. But dope.
Absolutely.
So with CompX, it seems there potentially are multiple ways for the platform to generate revenue, or the company. Can you speak on some of those?
Of course, yeah. I mean, one of the things we've been quite open about is like our path to sustainability, because it's important that we become sustainable. We don't have much external backing or any. We get some XGov grants now and then, but so revenue, a number of different things. So the swap router, formerly AlumX, we get a 0.02% fee on the trade, which in real terms is not a huge amount, but it's something.
Makes sense.
It's like we don't have one big bang product. We have lots of smaller ones. xUSD that's minted and in circulation we charge 3% base rate interest on the vaults for the year. However, if we're off peg, then our dynamic interest kicks in and it starts to go up. Right now, I think we're around about 10 to 12% interest, just because we've been off peg for a couple of days. And that's really an incentive to get people to go buy xUSD and pay back their debts. So that's quite that's a sustainable and reliable one. We are planning to help. We're looking past TDR, by the way, to see how can we sustainably give yield to people. So we're definitely looking at something where we can share out some of the interest to our users through new staking pools. One of our least used pieces of technology, but one of our favorite features, is our token streams. So you can, this is great for like payroll, or for for investors. Basically, it's really good for that, because you can set up tokens to stream over a period of time that are locked, with cliffs and with different vesting schedules. So they're really good. Take a 2.5% fee when they're created from the creator. And then what else do we have? XNFT doesn't have a particular mechanism for generating revenue from users, but the protocol, I mean, obviously we have all the tokens let's not be silly, but we get the kind of stipend every quarter of like 250 tokens to do what we will with. Usually we'll use those in marketing, but they are there. They could be sold as well. Other features we have. This is the bit where the farms, like I said, the farms do. This one's a difficult one. It's just it's really reliable, but it's difficult to work out the exact amounts because it's 2% of the compounded rewards. So if you're in a pool, if you're using a farm that has like 1,000 APY, that's decent return for us. We get 2% of those rewards as they come through and they get compounded. However, if you're in a pool that has 10%, the revenue for us is also a lot lower. So that kind of incentivizes us to get more yield for people because it gets more yield for us. So those are our main things. We're looking obviously at the future with the consensus rewards coming in. We'll be providing a consensus pool through the Ready pools that the guys at Transaction Labs have made. We're going to probably try and do something around using that stake in consensus as collateral for xUSD, so people can stay liquid, but they don't need like a algo derivative LST, like a G algo, X algo, M algo. They just know here's a stablecoin you can go use in the ecosystem.
So there is a lot of opportunity for growth, especially as I hear it is, as Algorand does get more users, people are going to these platforms, and that creates the revenue essentially there. And can you go back to token streams a little bit? I'm trying to make sure I get an understanding. Is that for tokens that are already launched, or is it
Could be either.
like, yeah, okay,
could be either, because we obviously talked with certain people around launching their tokens and what they want to do. It doesn't have kind of mass streaming capabilities as yet. Like, it's not great for airdrops. If you want to send tokens to 1,000 people, go use WEN tools or something like that. But if you've got a set of users that have large token allocations that you need to drip feed to them over a period of time, then it's perfect for that. That's what it was built for. We're going to add some extra functionality, get some of those multi-streams in, so you can send it to a number of people at once and split up some tokens. But at the minute, that's its main kind of thing. We don't see it being a big thing at the minute. It's more of an infrastructure piece. But as Algorand gets bigger and we can attract more kind of commercial use cases, because like I say, it's kind of thing that's perfect for payroll. You just put everyone's pay in and then it just pays them out. It's done for you. You don't have to worry about it. But that's in the future.
I like that. Yeah. So you're running your business on the blockchain, put the token streams in, and you can just do that like monthly or every 2 weeks or something, and then sent out automatically. Does the user have to have the assets opted in? Is there anything there with that?
They have to come to our site to claim the assets. So if they're not opted in, we'll give them the transactions to sign to opt them in. So because we're actually going to use it for some XNFT rewards that we're sending out to people that were staking with our xUSD staking this past couple of months. And people hadn't opted in, so we were like, okay, well, we'll use token streams to send them out to you. So yeah, it's one of those things that will become very useful for people. It's just not the right market for it right at this particular point.
Okay. So we see more growth there. That's an interesting product though, especially I'm thinking about the business people. Okay. So can we jump to analytics and then we'll get over to the CompX token, and then we'll hit some of these questions that are in the chat. So the analytics portion, is that integrated from AlgoGator?
Yeah, so we've got the portfolio tracking that AlgoGator used to have, or did have. That's been brought across. That was my first job joining CompX, was to integrate that. So that's brought in, so your full kind of portfolio across like the main DeFi. Obviously, everyone's going to be like, it's not as good as ASA stats. I know. We're not trying to be ASA stats. It just covers the main ones and ourselves. But it can give you like your daily yield across all your different positions. So what are you gaining per day? So you can kind of work that out. We've got some graphs in there. I need to update the graphs a little bit, make them a little bit nicer looking. But there's a lot in there that we're going to build on now that we've got all the other pieces in place. It was the first one, and then we just kind of had to leave it until we did all these other integrations. And then the other analytics are our TVL analytics and the CDP xUSD analytics, so people can see like how much is minted, what vaults are being used the most, and the percentages and the overall collateralization of xUSD as a whole.
Nice. So in-house, focused on y'all products and services.
Yeah. We think it's important for people to be able to kind of see that stuff. We did start doing our own token pages. Like if you went to Allo, you would see the graphs with, and here's the number of holders and stuff. So we brought that in for xUSD for ourselves. So we've got a nice token page. The Easter egg is that you can change the URL and put any ESA in, and you'll get a token page that shows you the price, the historical price, the TVL, and all the pools that you can use for that particular token. I'm probably going to make a search function at some point, but it's not on the top of my priorities. But if anyone wants to, they can try that out.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about the CompX token. What's the purpose of the CompX token, and then how do people get it essentially?
So CompX token is not out yet. It's been slated for release for some time, as people know, but other things have come up, unfortunately. So the CompX token is primarily a governance token, governance/reward token. I've always wanted to do reward function to reward people for using the site. We've got some achievement stuff coming called accolades for NFTs that people can get, but we want to have something
accolades. Oh, okay.
A different thing.
I was like, I know accolade like Star Wars, but accolades. Yeah.
So we're looking at. I've always wanted to do the kind of Brave attention token stuff with DeFi, so that if people come in and use our site daily. I used to work on mobile games, so I know all those tricks.
I use our site before. BAT.
Yeah.
Like,
basic
attention token. Yep.
Yeah. Login bonus. Use this every day. Get some CompX tokens. But it's really a way that post TDR is a way that we can incentivize pools. You see it with TinyMan right now. What they're doing with the Tiny token.
A side note, I can never remember. What does TDR stand for?
Targeted DeFi rewards.
Okay, targeted DeFi. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So partially going to be incentivizing, you said sort of like TinyMan.
Yeah. We see it that kind of way. It's definitely going to be the governance piece for us, because X backed before us wanting to have a governance token, so we're kind of taking that on.
Okay.
And I want a governance token for people to be able to set up some things, ideas for new vaults, new farms that we want to incentivize, new staking opportunities, things like that. Okay.
All right. In a moment, well, before we get to these questions, let's talk about Algorand governance a little bit, and in terms of like you guys in proposals that you have received recently, and how has that been going to help with the platform, and what do you think about overall of how the new XGov thing's been going?
So we've had a few XGov proposals in, 4 I think, but 4 in.
Okay.
2 passed. Our most recent 2 passed for our staking pools and for the retroactive one for the auto compounded farms. I think XGov is a necessary thing. I think a lot of people dislike it because of there's not enough checks and balances in place to stop what people feel is egregious and not in the spirit of the thing, which I agree with in some cases. Like, with what's his name? The guy that did the vote coin and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember his name.
There's been a few funny things happening.
Not against the rules, completely within the rules, but not in the spirit of the thing. And everyone can see that, except for the most diehard supporters. And I think one thing, though, with XGov is that I think people get very upset about certain things. They believe money shouldn't be going to places it shouldn't be going, which is true. But what we found as a platform that was trying to use XGov, and we see this with TDR as well when we have to put those proposals in, is it's like every 2 months we end up having to have the same arguments, the same conversations with people in the community, mostly with the same people. We have to have the same discussions over and over again about why we're doing certain things and why is this. I mean, the sentiment got so bad that Tiny Man was getting called out for things. Like, you know, they are the people's DeFi platform. Everybody loves Tiny Man. They're great.
For
but
sure.
People were like, why are you incentivizing your own pools? And you're like, why not?
Yeah. Like, don't y'all
why
want
would
these
we not
yield?
incentivize their own
I
token?
mean?
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So it gets a bit draining doing that. But like I say, it's a necessary thing. I hope that they add some more checks and balances. But if it's there, we will use it. We will put proposals forward, and I hope people vote for them. Because we just want to keep building new things. That's always been our raison d'etre. Is like build new things. New to Algorand or new on chain in general would be ideal.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, let's get to some of these questions here.
Yeah.
So thank you, Arthur. I want to learn more about the plans to make the Lofty tokens more liquid. So he wants you to speak on Lofty. What can you tell about anything going on there?
So at Decipher, we announced that we would be bringing Lofty tokens as collateral for xUSD. So you could take your real estate and make it liquid and take advantage of that, which we think is one of the coolest things that we can do. So, but as people might expect, using Lofty tokens is a little bit more complicated than using Algo for collateral.
Yeah. Real estate,
Yeah, it's like the tokens, the actual pricing of them, where they come from, their liquidity, all that stuff is fine, actually. It's particularly working with the Lofty platform in terms of how do we sell those tokens in the result of a liquidation. That's where we're at the minute, in terms of people want to know where we're at with the discussions and with the design and the plans. It's just to finalize things with the liquidations and how do we sell those tokens. Because you have to be KYC'd to use their tools.
Yeah. Because I remember,
and our liquidation bot doesn't have a passport, so
you got to do a lot of taxes.
Well, it's all that. I mean, I'm not in the US, so it's one of those things.
True, yeah. In the US, we like, man, it's a lot.
So someone gave a good idea in the Discord. Shout out to everyone that uses our Discord and gives great insight to things. Was the possibility of doing like an auction, or even just a marketplace to sell those tokens to people because we were going to get them for cheaper, so we could sell them at cut rate, and we wouldn't be charging the same fees that Lofty do. So maybe it becomes a side economy for the whole thing. That was an interesting one. That's obviously going to take us longer to do. But I mean, it may get to the case where we go, hey, we do a vault as a POC over this next month. If we do get any liquidations, we'll work out what we want to do with those tokens. Maybe we can auction them off on Discord or Twitter or something like that. But because building that marketplace would be a whole thing. It would take us a lot longer. We really do want to bring it to market. I think some people were like, where's this Lofty stuff? And we're like, we are working on it.
And give them some time, y'all. Decipher was like 2 months ago, right?
Yeah, but it's super important for us, and we really are excited to do it.
Okay, we got another one from Arthur. So how do you see the new Liquid X algo being used on CompX protocol?
So
that's the one from Folks Finance, yes.
Yeah. That just came out today, I think. So their X algo is the LST that they're going to mint from consensus rewards once consensus rewards
and liquid staking token, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's just to make you liquid from this, the same as G algo, but just for the consensus stuff. And I thought they'd been doing X algo for a while anyway. Aside,
I thought so, yeah.
Or was that just what they called the cross-chain one on Binance? I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
I remember it was over there. Yeah.
Yeah. For us, like, we're looking at what we're going to do with the consensus rewards in general. Like I said before, we would like to have our own ready pool where people can stake their algo and get consensus rewards. And I think putting that into a vault for xUSD as collateral would be the obvious one for us. We can't in our right minds go up against Folks Finance in that kind of layer zero of algo LST derivative tokens like M algo and G algo and X algo. Some other people might, just for their communities, and it'll be like a novel thing, and more power to them. What we have been thinking about is like working at a layer above. which is to say, what if we had something that we're calling clusters, so related tokens, so algo, galgo, malgo, xalgo, whatever other LSTs get made, put them all in one big pool, and then mint our own all-encompassing LST from that, which we CompX cluster tokens, so like CC algo, and that represents all of those. So you don't have to have one, you can just have this one, and then you can go use that in DeFi while you're still getting your consensus rewards from wherever you got the original from. That, we don't want to fight on the bottom layer, but going a level above where no one else is, and doing something different, we think that's what can play into our strengths and that kind of composability and stuff.
Okay. Oh, one more question from Arthur. Thank you for that answer. And then we'll move on to the next few questions. What about revenue sharing through xUSD sustainable staking? I read that.
Yeah,
right.
so I'd mentioned this. I mentioned this a wee minute ago. There was because I talk about these things in Discord sometimes, so people get like half of the answer.
Yep.
So the sustainability that we talked about. So like I said, targeted DeFi rewards will go away. We'll move to consensus rewards. So it'll change the whole landscape because pools, deposits, all that stuff, all the incentives that people see right now may disappear. And you might not be getting 12% on your USDC from Folks Finance anymore. It'd just be those trading APRs. So we have a system where interest gets paid on xUSD loans. So we take, like I said, 3% base rate and moving up and down. So we are going to make a pool that whenever we pull interest, we're going to take a slice of that and put it as rewards into that staking pool as for any of our users. Will it be just xUSD? I think it'll be xUSD and maybe a separate one for xUSD liquidity tokens, LP tokens, because we do want to incentivize LP as well. But that's how we give our users more yield sustainably and bring more users to xUSD specifically. Because we do, our main goal at the minute is just to ramp it up and get more people using the token, which will just drive its growth as a whole.
Okay. Makes sense. All right. Then I think one or two more. Do we have some sort of timeline for the token? Thank you, Chapo's World.
Yeah, so the timeline, and the timeline was originally like May, then it was June, and then I just was like, hold on, because we had XNFT coming in, and we got X back. So we're tentatively looking at the beginning of Q4, which would be the start of October, so like 1st of October, when we would go with still with the same plan, which is the lock drop plan, which for anyone not aware what a lock drop is, it's come in, put in $200 or something like that, to buy the CompX token, or put in your algo, for instance, put in $200 worth of algo. We will match half of that, or we'll match 75% of that. Sorry, forgetting the numbers. So we match 75% of that with the CompX token, and then we put it directly into liquidity, and it's locked for a year, which means you get 1.5 times what you put in, and we get solid and stable liquidity for the new token coming out. And there's also we take a percentage of that for the platform, so it raises us revenue at the same time. That's still the plan, and they'll be done on different tranches with different price points. So if you get in early, you get it cheaper, etc. And I think I do want to pull the trigger on it. People trying to stop me because I do just tend to jump into things. That's why it's August and it's still not out, because people have been telling me to wait. But we saw Tiny Man's launch went well, so that kind of makes us think, people do want new ASAs, and people like our platform, as far as we're aware. So I think 1st of October, give it another month, I think we'll be there. But please don't quote me on that; it may move. We'll come out with a specific and hard date in the coming days.
Okay, cool. Great answer. And the final one here we have another one from Arthur. He likes to ask about, what do you see the future of XNFT? How you see the future of XNFT?
So XNFT is a really interesting one, because it's this nowhere else does this, where you've got a NFT that can be swapped for an ASA for use throughout the ecosystem. And then you can shuffle in to get NFTs back. I mean, we've got another collection coming out imminently. I just need to make the contract and push them. They're all minted. So that was in collaboration with Algo Bambino, with the Bambino project. And we've got a fourth one after that coming up in the next month or two, and that we'll be bringing out. I think the future is to bring on new artists. I would really like to use it as a platform for unknown and different artists. I've said this before in spaces and stuff. Darkroom, when it first came out, Darkroom was awesome.
I remember
because it was
Darkroom.
all these.
Yeah.
It was a lot of like artists from like
it's like traditional
Thailand
artists.
Traditional artists and people from like Thailand and stuff like that. Art that we in Europe and maybe in the US don't see as much, and it was all really cool. These artists that were less exposed. I think it would be cool to do something like that. And I think bringing in artists from either other chains or just not blockchain at all, because I live in a city that has a famous art university in Glasgow.
Okay.
So what's to say we don't go out and get them and get those artists?
It's like how to digitize them and put them on the blockchain.
Yeah, because there's some. I actually, one of the lecturers that used to be my lecturer now works there and does their kind of digital media stuff. So that's actually given me the idea. This is what happens. People say a thing and I'm going, oh, I'll put that on the list. Let's do that. Ping him an email and ask, do you guys want to be a season 5?
Might as well, and that's why community is important. I mean, they got ideas that the people that are facilitating don't always have, and then that that's how things grow. So I think that's good. Yeah. So wait, let's see. Oh, one more from JT. Thank you, JT. Sort of like Go USD for the liquid staking token. So I'm assuming he's talking about
the clusters. Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. Yeah, but it's this basket of tokens that are that have specific percentages and ratios within that. One of the things we want to do above that is to have, because we want to give people a reason to use it, is to have people that put it in there earn a yield from using it. So take a stable coin cluster. So like CC stable, it's got USDC, it's got xUSD, it's got Go USD, it's got EuroS and all the other ones. If we said, well, look, you put it in there, we'll take 50% of the capital that's in that, and we'll go put that in DeFi, and then you'll get the yield from it. So we could swap it all to USDC, put it on Folks, and just give people that return. Or don't really want to put it in, or put it into stable pools, because those are safe. Things like that. So we want to give people yield from using our products to use those clusters. So we think it's kind of like Go UST for LSTs and stables, but like version 2, like a new version with extra yield.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. All right. Let's slowly start to close out, right? Is there any other thing that you want to share that we haven't covered? Any alpha, anything you can sprinkle on to the community to get them hyped?
So a couple of things. Talking of vaults, so we've got like Lofty vaults. We're bringing out new token vaults with some other partners in the ecosystem. We're planning to bring out F asset vaults. Our swap router is the only router that can handle straight up F assets. Like all the rest of them, F assets, as in the Folks Finance LSTs that you don't get when you do lending, but they actually do get minted. So our swap router is the only one that you can say, hey, swap me algo to F algo, and you can do that. None of the other ones will.
Nice.
So if we did an F algo, for instance, F algo vault for xUSD, you could put F algo in, mint xUSD, and get a yield from the lending from those tokens, which could probably go, depending on market, it could be higher than the interest that you're actually paying. So you could mint it for free. So I've tasked people with it already in the team. That's happening. F assets. I think we'll start with F algo as a kind of test run. FUSDC is like leverage town because it's $1, but it gains yield, and you could just leverage that and loop that multiple times to get xUSD. I think that's super exciting for people, and like just adds all these different layers onto things. The second thing is to say a massive thank you to the CompX initiative team. This is the official thank you to the team because I've been pulled up before. So that's Deshaun, that's Zach, Holy Goat, that's 115, that's Jay. Also our developers, Nimi and P2, who do amazing work under my direct, like, going to build this today. Oh no, how about this? Or how about this? I chop and change a lot and just throw things at people and say, we need this tomorrow. Please build that. This would be cool. That's always the things like, this would be cool. And they're like, sure, I've got 4 other things that you said were cool. I'm like, all right, we'll build it. Yeah, get to it. Come on. And our community, because like you said, the community bringing stuff to us. Our Discord is, most Discords are full of like memes and fun stuff. Ours is just full of people going like, what if you did this weird thing with DeFi? And I'm like, that sounds cool. And then they're like just throwing out numbers and working all this stuff out. So I just, my hat goes off to them. I would, but my hair's terrible. My hat goes off to them. They are them, the initiative, the developers. They are like the lifeblood of things. All I'm doing is kind of steering a ship kind of in a direction. So they're the ones that do all the hard work.
Yeah, for sure. So big shout out to, Deshaun, CompX Initiative, everybody who's been in the chat. We really appreciate y'all over here at the Next Block. We be seeing the xUSD popping into the wallet sometime. So much love, appreciate it. Again, Chapo's World, he's grateful that we sprinkle some good alpha there. All right. Thank you guys all for watching the show. I got your Twitter accounts from Chapo's World, and I think it was Arthur, but we have it. I screenshotted it. So look out for some xUSD and a 1X NFT sent to your wallet. Look out for any notifications there. It'll be either from the CompX initiative or the Next Block wallet that will send it over. Appreciate y'all, and then we will see you on the next episode. Look out for any announcements. Again, thank you, CompX team, and y'all have a great one. We're going to hit this outro. Kieran, can you wait one moment, and we'll see the rest of y'all next time.
Thanks, man.